Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Guys, welcome to Wholesale Hotline, episode 172 weeks in a row.
Wow.
Amazing. All right, so Matt, show us the live studio audience if you don't mind. Everybody say hello. Everybody can see. Wow, that's insane. Look at all those people. Eddie, we can see you. Tyler, we can see you. Everybody, we can see you. It is amazing how many friends we have in this room.
It's beautiful. People
doing deals with each other right there in the hallway. Somebody's talking about a Gator deal they just did. Somebody's talking about a big 100-unit deal that they're doing. I have a 160-unit deal in Tucson, Arizona, a place that I swore to God that I would never buy.
That's why God put it in your lap.
He did.
He was like, don't say you're not going to buy here.
I'll prove you wrong, Pace.
Yep.
Pretty amazing. So what we're going to do today is in the Q&A. Everybody in the Q&A, please ask your questions. And based on the audience members that we have right in front of us, Jamil Damji and myself will pull up an individual from the audience based on their experience. We got closers in here. We got people that close all the way up in the New England area. We call that, what do we call that? I call that the Northeast.
It is pretty much the Northeast, but we're New England, baby.
New England.
OG.
Justin
America's
to
OG.
America's. Yeah, actually, that is true. Every
Yes.
time I go to Boston, I remind myself that Arizona is like a brand new baby state.
Correct.
So we've got an amazing group here today, guys. People in the audience that are doing deals all over the country. Your questions will dictate who gets pulled up to the stage. Where you been, brother?
I've been in Canada, man.
We missed you for an entire week. What were you doing in Canada?
I was at a retreat in Lake Louise. If you guys are not familiar with Lake Louise, Alberta, it's just heavenly. It literally feels like you're living in a painting. I spent 5 days unplugged from the day-to-day that I would normally do, and it was very refreshing, recharging, and gave me a lot of insight. And then I spent the weekend with my daughter, my ex, and her husband, and their other two kids, and had a whole blended family extravaganza.
What was the best food you had the whole week?
The best food I had the whole week. I would say the pizza I ate last night.
It didn't look like a pizza to me. It looked like a big ass calzone. What was it?
It was, I don't know how they do it, dude. They tuck in all the toppings under the cheese. And then they bake it till the cheese is all like brown and crusty. It's yum.
With gravy on the inside?
No. Just pizza, bro. Come on.
When you guys think about Canadian food, what do you guys think about? Maple syrup.
Yep.
Poutine.
Yep.
Some people think, if people don't know what poutine is, they think you're saying a bad word, by the way.
Yep.
It's not until you realize it's...
Yeah. You're talking about your bad teenager. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you got fries covered in cheese curds.
Cheese curds and brown gravy.
Correct. Which is why everywhere we go, you order brown gravy as a side.
Because it's I grew up on it.
It's the Canadian soft drink. All right, so we've got the first question of the day. This is an interesting, unique one, guys. Just so you know, we're going to be doing Q&A today, pulling up audience members throughout the next hour and a half. So here's the first question. Angelique Cole says, hey, I'm starting out. We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what that was like?
Boy, do I ever.
You were wearing cargo shorts, but like in Canada, when you guys wear cargo shorts,
I wasn't wearing cargo shorts in Canada,
bro. I guarantee you were in flip flops.
Nope.
And your cargo shorts kind of look
That's
like
what Canadians wear in Arizona.
You guys wear capris. Do you guys know that like Europeans and Canadians wear pants that are like 8 inches too short, and they think those are called shorts? Those are called capris. Speedos. Should I sell my home with $140,000 equity so that I can invest?
Mm-hmm.
If yes, how to sell without paying all the fees? I have $10,000 ish. I have $10,000 ish. You see how I have to like translate this? I have $10,000 ish available and some land, quarter acre to also build on. I say the answer to that question is don't sell your house that has equity in it.
Correct.
Right? Does anybody disagree with this? Okay. Let me, Justin Tumanowski, come up here. We'll have you do a couple of questions.
What's up?
Tumanowski, guys. Justin, what is your IG so people can look you up?
Real Estate Justin. I think there's a period in between each word.
Just look it up on Instagram. Real Estate Justin. Follow him on Instagram. He's amazing. If you guys are anywhere in the country, he can help you out. You can help people close deals. You can, if a private money lender has money to invest, they want to do a deal, they want to get their hands on some action, you're a guy they can go to, right?
1,000%.
Okay.
Deals.
What do you think? Should I sell my house so I can get $140,000 so I can go invest, or what should I do instead?
Nope. Absolutely not. You can leverage the house, possibly, but you have plenty of money. You don't even need money to get into this business.
That was the one I was looking for. Poutine. Boom, boom.
You got a few bucks. you get a few dollars. It helps. But actually, sometimes that can give you a crutch. So when you have nothing.
Are your best deals that you negotiate when you have a lot of money or when you have no money in the bank?
I mean, they used to be when you have zero. When you're down, when the chips are down, and like we do, we act like we're broke all the time. So, our biggest deal just came through, as you may have heard, and we're all right, but we act like it's the last one.
Yeah.
We act like we're poor.
Next. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
On to the next. So here's my take on this. Let's talk about this for a minute or two. My take on this is that if you go and sell your house, you get the $140,000 in equity, and then you go and invest.
Sure.
That's a cheat code.
Sure.
Okay, great. I loved playing video games where I didn't have the cheat code and I had to figure it out along the way. Once you give me the cheat code, it's like the game is no longer as fun.
Nope.
It's fun for about 5 more minutes. I got the unlimited ammo, the unlimited whatever. And then after 5 minutes, it's like, what did I learn? What skills did I acquire? How am I better at this game that we call real estate investing? If I used my own money, what are some skills that you could acquire instead of using your own money, Justin?
Just squatting up, reaching out. I mean, you got the whole community. You just put yourself out there.
Okay, so let's say networking is number one. Number two, I'll give you another one. Instead of using your money, how about obtaining the valuable skill of raising private capital?
Biggest thing I never did early on, but I was never taught that. I didn't know that. What you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
But yes, number two is one of the things I would actually do first.
Right.
Start keeping your ears out. Start asking those questions. You might not be trustworthy right now. You have to build that up.
Yeah.
But when you're ready, everyone's going to be watching and you know who to go to.
I think also I have the gentleman to my immediate right that for the first 100 deals that I did, I relied on him entirely to comp all of my deals, right? Sure. You don't have to know much to get into this game. You also don't need to have a lot of money. You do need to obtain some valuable skills. By networking, you can find people who can comp deals. By networking, you can find people who can close a deal.
Sure.
You don't need to have a lot of money or really that much money to generate leads in the beginning. But you do need to find people who have the valuable skills that you are missing. So my answer, Angelique, is the same as Justin's. Do not sell that damn house.
And I wouldn't even say leverage it because she's going to have to outperform the ridiculous interest rates out there right now.
Right.
You leverage that house, you're going to get what? 7.5% interest rate. Now you got to find an investment that's going to outperform that for it to even make sense for you to have pull that money out. Plus, there's going to be origination fees. And it's a lose-lose scenario.
And then you're tempted to spend that money frivolously.
Well, you're gonna chase a deal.
Go buy cars, then you go, then you get lazy.
Yep.
So I got a quick story on that. So we're negotiating a deal 2 weeks ago. It's 145 units in Lubbock, Texas. This is a great comment, by the way. This is my favorite comment of the last 6 months. I love this. We're going to jump on this in a second. So we're negotiating a deal in Lubbock, Texas. Seller wanted $2 million down for a big 145 unit multifamily deal. Purchase price $7 million. Seller's like, give me $2 million. At the time, we had $2 million in cash. The next day, we deployed $2 million somewhere else, and all of a sudden, we have no cash. So my acquisition team was like, oh my gosh, we deployed the money somewhere else. I was like, yep, just act like we have no money. So they went and got a $500,000 down payment. So they got the seller to commit to $1.5 million lower because the team knew we didn't have the money.
Right.
Isn't that interesting of coming from a place of, I don't have money, my back is up against the wall, you act like you're broke, you get your very, very best deals.
100% agree.
Just like go lock it up at 20,000, go lock it up at 20,000. You send your acquisition out. I want it lower, actually. I want it, 18. And you go, but the ceiling is 20. And what do? They
go to 20.
They come back with 20.
Or 20,500.
It was the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
So we're humans.
Path of least resistance.
You got to trick ourselves sometimes.
Playing games. All right. So Steve Hansen, shout out to Steve Hansen. He says, it's a holiday. Come on, man.
With the Mercedes-Benz on the cover of his...
That's a picture of his neighbor's car. That's
I'd like to point.
This was is in the parking lot right now.
I'd like to point out that Steven's here watching. So
Steven Hansen,
as much of a break as you want.
Give people a rest. You're rich enough, he says.
We don't stop.
Do you feel like you're actually working though?
This is a vacation, but this is life.
Right.
Every day is a blessing.
You get to hang out with cool people. We've got, how many people do we have in here? Somebody should do the count for us. Do you know how many we have? Oh yeah, you are cool. Okay, so we have a lot of cool ass people here. There's some millionaires in here. There's people who have, I bet you there's easily 3,000 or 4,000 units owned in this room alone, and probably a cool $100 million in this room.
Pretty dope.
You're like 92 million.
I was going to say 99's right here.
Okay, so we've got a lot of people, dude. I don't know about you guys, but Memorial Day is a really special day for obvious reasons as Americans. But you know what? I remember the people before us by paying respect to them by putting in the work that they put in.
Don't waste a day.
Don't waste a day. Don't waste a day. So shout out to Stephen Hansen. The picture of your landlord's car is really cool as your avatar. I like that. 90? Bullshit. Wow, bro. You should get your boyfriend to take math class, bro. There's no way we got 90 in here.
Heady bash, bro.
Okay, here. Okay, last question, Justin Tumanowski. Let's see if you can answer this question, my brother.
Sure.
Do you know, Jamari says, can you explain what a 1031 exchange is?
In layman's terms, it's just taking the IRS is allowing you to defer gains that when you sold a property, say you sold a property, you're taking the gains, the positive outcome of that sale, and you're transferring into another asset.
So I buy a house for 100. 5 years later, it's worth 200.
Sure.
I now have $100,000 gain. I sell that property for 200,000.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with that 200,000?
If it's technically we can't do it like that, but yes, we would just roll the 100 or the 200 into another property, another asset.
Okay, so we just roll that bad boy over,
and then you deferring all the tax, and that's the strategy of the wealthy is to keep rolling that into another asset, and then you upgrade to the next, and you upgrade and upgrade and upgrade, and you kick that can down the road, that tax can, Uncle Sam's can, down the road.
So there's a billionaire strategy. It's called defer, die.
Because then we're going to get real technical.
You didn't know that?
No, I know.
It's a good one.
It's great.
Okay, defer, die. So just keep kicking the can down the road. Somebody else will deal with it.
And then your heirs don't get to pay the tax.
That is correct. Justin Tumanowski, everybody. Give it up for Justin Tumanowski. Love you, brother. Love you. Justin Tumanowski is one of the great leaders of the nation. He's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look him up. Real Estate Justin on Instagram. Andrew says, I want to hear from Justin T about growing the sub 2 Northeast community. Here's what I'm going to tell you. DM him.
Yes.
Okay. Cause we're going to pull some other people up here. And also Andrew's in the room. He's right behind me. So just so you know.
Oh, it wasn't.
Okay. Okay, cool. Dude, check out this. Peyton Roberts says, I became an Astro Flipper today.
What a
amazing. Okay.
not till they do a deal, bro.
Oh, you hold back? Is that what you do?
You ain't getting no bell today. You just started. It's coming though.
Wow, we got a lot of people just loving on Justin Tumanowski in here, basically. Jacob Caddick says, this is Jacob Caddick right here, by the way. Jacob bought my F-150 on seller finance. Did anybody ever see that YouTube video? This is Jacob Caddick right here. Okay, if you guys want to do deals with him, and what are your markets you're focusing on?
Las Cruces, New Mexico, and Casa Grande, potentially Tucson.
Amazing. All right, cool. Very cool. Raise your hand, by the way. People can see you on the screen. Jacob Caddick, what's your Instagram?
Jacob Caddick. No dots, no numbers.
That's the full name, Jacob Caddick. No dots, no numbers. Check out this question. Best question of the day. Rose Brown says, "How do I submit a question?" Oh, this is like Inception, bro. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Rose, you are freaking amazing. Okay, cool. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, here we go. Here's a question. Pooja Damju. Damju is her last name. Jamil. Zillow Realtor Redfin is currently not showing sold prices of properties. How do we comp in this situation? What is comping, by the way? There's at least one person that doesn't know the word comp.
Yeah, so when you're comping, what Pooja's asking is how can she find sold data so she can determine what the value of her property is. Comparing or comping is comparing two properties to try and determine value of a piece of real estate. And you can only do that by comparing properties that are like, right? So if you have an apple, you want to compare it to another apple, but it's not just enough to compare it to an apple. It has to be the same kind of apple grown in the same orchard with the same soil from the same tree. That's comparing. That's what comping is. What Pooja is saying is that Zillow, Realtor.com, and Redfin are not currently showing sold data. Pooja, I would probably say that you're in a non-disclosure state. I think what's happening is you're looking for sold data probably in a place like Texas or New Mexico or potentially Utah. And because of that, you're not going to get any sold data because those markets are non-disclosure. So what you need is a service that taps into the MLSs for that market. Pooja, I'd be interested to hear what market are you in? What market are you trying to compare?
I'm going to bet you $10.
It's Texas.
Bro, come on. Choose a different state.
It's Texas.
It is Texas.
It's got to be Texas.
It's got to be Texas.
So what you would do, Pooja, is you would go to Privy. Privy has plugged into the MLS data in most of the Texas markets, and it will give you the sold data. What's your Privy code?
Startwithprivy.com.
Go to startwithprivy.com and check it out.
Privy's pretty dope. My wife, who's a real estate agent, uses Privy here now that we have MLS access. She likes it better than the actual MLS.
Honestly, look, Privy as a utility came in, took the whole real estate investor world by storm. But I not only think that it's a valuable tool for real estate investors, I think it's a valuable tool for realtors. Because MLS is, if you look at just the how archaic the systems are and the way that the workflow is, or how hard it is to find anything on a MLS, a regional MLS, look at Armless, for instance, it's terribly confusing.
Yeah.
You go to a software where they've thought about the user, they've thought about how are these people going to be looking at the screen? Where would a natural place be to put this button?
This is why capitalism is so important, is because when you have competition that comes into the marketplace, the MLS, the reason why it hasn't improved over time is because there's no competition.
Correct.
When Privy comes in, they go, man, how do I retain a client without them canceling on me? They improve the service.
Absolutely.
I told Benson the other day, one of the owners of Privy, I said, you need to get the expired listing list on there. So you click on a thing and it shows all the expired listings the last 60 days. He says, we're working on it.
He is, yeah. A lot of data, actually. I've had that and a few other really
Look
interesting
at the audience got excited.
Foreclosures and other things as well.
Okay, I've got a perfect person for this question. Jeff Smith, come on up here, brother. Where are you at? Here he is. Here he is. Jeff is one of our Houston leaders. He runs something called, he has Astro students show up to this, sub 2 students. He has something called Power Hour, where him and a handful of other badass leaders in Houston get together every Saturday for 2 hours, and they get people to make their first calls ever.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice job.
You might want to actually change the name of it to that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, here's a question for you. MD Gonzalez asked the question. How far do you go in order to do the best deal for a homeowner in need? When do you walk away? If I'm unable to help, how do you get over the feeling of heartbreak and failure? Now, Jeff, remember the person who is asking this question, as you know, you're very seasoned. By the way, Jeff, how can people get a hold of you?
Best way to reach out to
Put
me
that
is
microphone this close to your face.
Okay,
They want to look like you're making out with it.
Got it. Best way to reach out to me is Instagram, jeff.r.w.smith.
Yes.
That's how you can find
That's
me.
very Texas. Okay. This person, do you think they're generating a lot of leads or they have not generated a lead yet?
Too myopic. First of all, I think this is a hallucination.
Yes.
I think that.
What does myopic mean? Is that like a biopic where they make this amazing movies?
It means that you're like focused on one thing. You're focused on one thing, and that right now is a story. And the story is a disaster situation before you even had the situation get started, right? And so you're just understand this, that your mind is going to play as many tricks on you as it can to keep you in the place you are right now, because the place you're in right now is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So, Jeff, you're an operator. You've gone way past this. I mean, bro, the other day in the mastermind, you're sitting there showing a photo of, oh, yeah, I've got this piece of land. I'm going to subdivide it. I bought it on seller finance. I'm going to sell it on seller finance. And I'm going to chop it up into 85 other pieces. And I'm going to seller finance those. You're obviously in the business. You're doing a lot of deals. You're helping a lot of sellers. What would you say to MD Gonzalez, who's fearful that you're going to start calling sellers and you're not going to be able to, A, disconnect, because it is business after all, and B, how do they disconnect and get over the heartbreak of not being able to help a seller?
There's several things that come to mind as I hear this. And, one of the, of course, great sales trainers is Steve Trang. Mm-hmm. And one of his very first statements was disqualify leads. Disqualify as fast as you can and get them out of your CRM, because not everybody who answers the phone and says, I'll sell, is going to be somebody you're going to work with. You have prospects, you have suspects, then you have leads, then you have somebody you consider a qualified lead. Who am I actually going to work with? And what's the wholesale batting average right now? 1 in 40, 50?
1 in 50 is what we see we have a company that knows the data on this stuff. It's 1 in 50 leads turns into a contract.
Right. So for everybody hearing
this is brand new wholesalers.
Yeah. And so if you think about this, that means 49 people who answered the phone and says, yeah, I'm interested in talking to you, you're not going to do a deal with. So let's just come back to reality. Pace, Jamil, me. We don't bat 1,000. No one does. The next thing I would tell to him, especially as a closer, your biggest mission is to find out what the problems are that they're experiencing. Just how bad is it, and what is the consequence of not doing something about it? I help a lot of people in our Houston community understand this and get better at conversation. I call it the rubber band of motivation. On one side, you have pain, and on the other side, you have gain. And if somebody is stretching that rubber band to the tension point where there's no room left, they're going to do a deal. But for me, like, my motivation, my pain, and my gain is barely zero. I will never do a deal with you. So what I would say to this is, how far do you go to the best deal with the homeowner in need? First of all, do you truly understand the problem that they're experiencing? Mm-hmm. If the magnitude of the problem is extreme and the gain of theirs is also there, you'll find a way to do a deal. But if they're just saying, listen, I'll sell for the right price, I can sit around and whatever, listen, disqualify and move on. But if there's no problem to be solved, if there's no problem to be solved, why would anybody go to a hospital? It's the same idea. You as an investor, you're there to solve problems. If there's no problem to be solved, send them out the door.
I had a seller 6 years ago. I call my wife. I go, man, this guy's ready to sign. Right. My wife at the time was my transaction coordinator. So I said, let's set up an appointment. I need you to come back. He's a sweet old man. And I actually don't do well with sweet old men. My wife does. So I go, hey, come back. Let's sign. I was in the appointment for 2 hours. Rapport. I reported myself into the friend zone. I didn't see it. Anybody been there before?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Quijano, don't act like you've never been to the friend. Have you been in the friend zone, Quijano?
I mean, with a seller, but not with some ladies.
Oh. Oh, that was good. Okay. So I'm thinking this guy's so ready to sell his house. So I get my wife to come back over, meet the guy, kind of showing him the other side of the business, which is my wife. We get into another 2-hour conversation. And my wife very abruptly ends the conversation. She's like, "Hey, we need to go pick up our kid." And I go, "Okay, all right." She pulls me out and we get in the truck. I go, "Dude, we don't have Asher this weekend. What are you talking about?" We hadn't had Corbin and Monday at the time. And she goes, "I was just getting you out of the friend zone." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You report this guy, you report yourself into this little corner. This guy's lonely. His wife died 2 years ago and he just wanted a friend." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so right." So I go, "Hold on a second." I stop the truck, turn around, go back in the thing, knock on the door. I said, "Hey, do you have any intention of selling your house to me?" He goes, "You want to buy my house?" Ask Laura. Laura was like laughing at me, and I'm supposedly a really great closer, right? So you can get sucked into these conversations, and at the end of the day, the people that you have to watch out for are the people that, first and foremost, yourself, your wife, your kids, your family, and then your immediate team, right? That's who you have to look out for. It's a business after all, and you have to track these things and go, all right, industry average says I'm at 1 in 50 leads, I'm going to get a deal. So if you got 100 leads and you haven't gotten a deal yet, it means there's something wrong. And you might want to call somebody into the fray like Jeff Smith and go, "Hey, I've got 5 or 6 people who are really close, but I don't know how to find their motivation deep enough. I don't know how to truly help them." Here's another really quick story about this. Kevin Cho, 22 years old. Do you think he knows as much about life as you do, Jeff?
About life, no.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I'm 38. I've traveled the world. There's
You know a
it's just
thing or two. You got gray
differences.
in your beard, bro. Like you know some things. Okay. You earn those gray beards. So when a seller's going through some problematic situation, what's the likelihood that you can solve it versus Kevin Cho, who has never lived life outside of his parents' house up until 18 months ago?
Well, I mean, that's interesting, though, because Kevin does have access to resources and other
But
people.
just individuals, right? I mean, I'm comparing somebody who's young, forget about Kevin Cho as the individual, just somebody who's brand new to the business, maybe 20 years old, has never been married, doesn't understand divorce, not old enough to have lost parents, doesn't understand probate, not old enough to own, have their own house, therefore doesn't understand potentially losing your house and the pain that goes behind that. Does somebody who's never lived life have the ability to close a deal as easy as you?
Not as easy, no.
Because you understand pain.
Correct.
So if I am working with a seller and I'm having a hard time finding their pain, maybe find one of the gray beards in the audience, right?
Right. If that's what you're struggling with, and also to understand how to ask quality questions. Asking bed and bath count is a waste of time.
Agreed.
Asking the age of the roof and water heater is a waste of time if that's not the underlying issue. Your questions need to revolve around, when somebody walks into a doctor's office, what is the first thing the doctor asks? What seems to be the problem today? We instead do stupid things when we get started. I did this. Hey, tell me a little bit about the house.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no quicker way to shoot yourself in the foot than to start on condition. We think it builds rapport. It does exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
Your first questions need to be, hey, besides my phone call, besides our appointment meeting, what has really got you interested? What is the thing about this property that's really getting under your skin? What is the concern that's getting in your way from making this adjustment? Ask a high quality problem question like that, and then you'll get quicker to the meat and potatoes of how you're going to help them get where they want to go and do the deal.
So in essence, if the lead is not a qualified lead, I'm also wasting the seller's time by trying to help them with a problem that doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
So maybe that would be the answer to how do I get over the feeling of heartbreak and failure, is that there is no heartbreak and failure unless you get into the friend zone and realize they weren't going to sell in the first place.
The other piece here is that whose heart is broken? The seller, if you weren't able to solve their problem, then there really wasn't a problem to be solved. In what I can see here, they weren't motivated enough to want you to be able to help them. So who's heartbroken? You're heartbroken. You're heartbroken that you don't have a deal, that you didn't get paid. You're so attached to the outcome of the situation that's what you're focused on, rather than what can we actually do to help this seller. So again, heartbreak, failure, you're too stuck to that check. get out of the head zone of where that check is, what's happening with that check, and figure out what's going on with the seller.
Amazing.
Really
Amazing. Jeff Smith, your Instagram name one more time.
Jeff.R.W.Smith. I had 2 grandfathers. They were both badasses, so I was lucky to get their names.
Love it. Give it up for Jeff Smith. All right. Now, Carlos Carrasco says, can you explain how to wholesale in the Chicagoland area?
Yeah.
Jamil, I'm going to leave this one up to you.
Well, I imagine Carlos is asking that question because you required to have a wholesale, or have a real estate license in Chicago or in Illinois if you're going to do more than one wholesale deal a year. And it's actually not one wholesale deal, it's one assignment a year. That's the law in Illinois. So how you would do it is use transactional funding. Transactional funding, it'll cost you a 0.1%. You'll close your first transaction. As long as you have your buyer locked up, you can sell that deal the next day or the same day. So you really don't have to adjust anything. In fact, there's so few people doing wholesale deals in Chicagoland that you have a blue ocean to swim in. People are just if they see a small hurdle, they just don't go there.
Yeah.
So Chicagoland is one of those most incredible markets that you can go and do a lot of business in if you just understand those nuances. So transactional funding, the occasional double close, although there's not a lot of title companies out there that are really poised to be able to do that. So it'll cost you a point, transactional fund, you can wholesale all you want.
Love it. Chicagoland. Wasn't it interesting that Nita from this weekend, solopreneur, woman, knocking doors, is doing 5 to 7 deals in Chicago every single month.
It's an incredible opportunity out there.
She's like, I don't have a problem with deals.
Yep.
I have a problem with how to handle so many deals I have.
It's great.
She made $700,000 net last year.
Wow.
Net. And she was like, I have too many. I'm turning down deals because I can't handle them all.
And the buyers out there, they need you. They need more wholesalers. They need more people to be out there knocking doors. I mean, how much do you think this lady is actually working to do that much business?
She said she was prospecting. When I talked to her, she said she was prospecting about 4 hours a day. And the rest of the time, her husband is handling the back end. And he's doing it about 2 hours a day.
So think about that, right? Most people are doing this 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And if they do it 8 hours a day, could do that volume. She's doing that volume in half the time.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you that A, she's probably very efficient at what she's doing, but then B, she really isn't there's like so much opportunity out there because there's just so few people wanting to do the business or figure out how they can circumvent or be able to push through the laws.
Agreed. All right, this one's a great question. Where's Ingrid Hernandez? Let's see if she can answer this one. Ingrid Hernandez. Ingrid Hernandez. Now, I want to highlight a couple of things. The people who are in this studio have invested time, energy, resources, sacrificed time with family members themselves, extracurricular activities to make sure that you gain the knowledge to answer these questions. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we have the confidence to pull you up in front of 90 people to answer this question, doesn't it say a thing or two about you?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being a badass. Thank you to Justin Tumanowski and Jeff Smith. Give it up for them, everybody. Appreciate you. Okay, so this is a unique one, okay? A really unique one.
Mm-hmm.
I teach about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are not going to understand this, and I'm hoping that you get this. This is like trying to thread a needle kind of question, okay?
Okay.
Antoine Perez says, is there any way to get the equity out of a property without a refinance or a home equity line of credit?
Yes.
Ooh.
I will caveat that, or at least caution, if this is your primary home, I have my own personal reasons why you should reconsider, but experienced investors will leverage their capital partners that they've created in relationships and will leverage those relationships to put private money lending lien against those houses with an interest. So much like what we do in sub 2, which is you don't have to run credit, you don't have to do things like that. Rather, you can leverage your relationships and be able to unlock those extra monies that are sitting in equity.
Okay, so let's give an example.
Yeah.
I have a house that I owe $200,000. It's worth $400,000
Mhm.
according to Zillow. And I want to get money out of that remaining delta, right? I've got about a $200,000 delta and I want to pull money out. Am I technically pulling money out of the house? And B, how much money do you think I'll be able to get against that $200,000?
If I was a private money lender and you brought that to me and said, hey, would you lend to me on that property? I would never want to lend beyond, right now in this market, technically over 70% of the appraised value. Why? Because if I'm going to sit in a second lien position and you default, I want to make sure that I have some opportunity to get that money back.
Okay, so if I'm doing the math, my appraised value is 400, like we said.
Yep.
I owe 200.
Mhm.
My 70% of the $400,000
Yep.
that you said you'd be willing to lend
Mhm.
is $280,000.
Right.
So I could go to you, Ingrid, and say, Ingrid, I have $200,000 in equity. How much will you give me against my property so I can go take money and invest it in something else?
Right, $80,000.
$80,000. And why not the 200 again? Why wouldn't you give me the full 200? You cheapskate.
Because you're over leveraging yourself. We're in a market that's slightly uncertain, although there are very, very hot areas. Real estate right now is extremely localized.
What does that mean, Jamil?
Means every single market in America is different. You have a different market conditions in Florida. You got different market conditions in California. You have different market conditions in Arizona. So you have to look at the local data to see what's happening in each place. We don't have a national housing market anymore. We have a regional housing market now.
Okay, so it's localized, which means if I'm a private money lender looking at a deal to lend money to that individual who wants to pull money out of their house, what should I be doing?
You should not be lending unless you understand that, first of all. But secondly, understand those terms so that you are safely lending money out. What I was going to go back to, if this is your primary home, though, I don't necessarily believe that you should be putting that much risk, especially, and again, these are my values, so I probably am projecting, but, if my family and my dog sleep there, I don't want to put my own home at risk. There's ways that we protect ourselves, using prime corporate services, put your LLCs into the properties you own, into your investments, so that you're not as high of risk. So I think if you're doing this with your own home and you have those types of responsibilities, I wouldn't do it. I've
broken both of those rules in the last 2 weeks. We had that deal I did in Illinois, the 256 units. I had to, the seller who sold that property to me on seller finance would not allow me to get a private money lender against the property. So I said, no problem. I'll just put a lien on my personal home.
You cross-collateralized, yeah.
So I cross-collateralized my home. So I use the equity in my home, just like Antoine Perez is saying, and your answer is perfect. And I leveraged 100% of my existing equity on that deal for like 6 months.
Well, we already talked about it, Pace. You're way more mature now than
than Kevin Cho.
A mature
that is
investor.
Correct.
Yes, than Kevin Cho. So you've earned
he's not
your
watching.
gray hairs too.
He's napping right now, so it's good. I love that you can answer any question I throw at you.
Oh, thank you. It's your fault.
Yeah, sure. So, Ingrid, how can people get a hold of you, do deals with you, lend money to you, send an opportunity to you? How can they connect you, and which markets are you looking at right now?
If Pace does business in that market, I'm probably doing it. Why? Because he's already done the market research. So I think what they say.
So like Sunbelt states.
Yep, R&D, rip off and duplicate.
Oh,
yeah,
that's the best R&D.
Yeah, so that if you want to get a hold of me, or if you guys want to be on our podcast, by the way,
we would love to.
Yeah, awesome sauce.
Is this live or virtual?
No, we only do it live.
No, I mean, like, do I need to physically be next to you?
Oh no, we
can
use StreamYard.
Can we? If I can hang out with you in Carolina, I would love to do that. Because of you, we closed on a property in Gilbert over $1 million, and you bougie people.
No, I in one point in my head, I couldn't imagine messing with those numbers. But as more and more experience you get, like your money thermostat goes up, as Cody Martin would say.
Yeah.
And so I partnered up with the wonderful Marlon Johnson. He directs that house. It's an entrepreneur incubator. And
Is it like just a big parkour
parkour
thing?
yeah. But our goal is to focus on mindset in that property and really help cultivate good habits with the entrepreneurs that live there. So we are planning on putting like a little mini studio in that house. We're not quite there yet. But once that's ready,
how about this?
we
do your podcast at my house and my studio.
Okay.
And then Jamil, you guys can do one with Jamil. Maybe do you guys do it only live, so you're not pre-recording and posting it?
Right. Yeah. Whatever.
Can we
works.
do the podcast from a cold plunge?
Let's do it. For an hour? Yeah. Yeah.
Only if Pace does it.
I'll do it. I told Kihano yesterday the hack is just stream that you're in your cold plunge, but have the temperature at like 75 degrees.
And just fake shiver
and pretend.
My 13-year-old Isla.
Yeah.
And I have to say once again, thank you to you, Jamil, and you and Brent, who isn't here. I mean, you guys have built such great communities. And I think a good marker of that is, first of all, my children love my friends, which is they're teenagers. Like that's not normal. But secondly, I love that they're influenced by them. So I just, the cheat code there is like, have your friends tell them what they need to hear because they won't listen to mom and dad.
She's not listening right now. Right?
But she was in
she
the
doesn't
cold
know
plunge.
She's being manipulated.
She was in the cold plunge yesterday for 17 minutes.
Holy
smoke.
Pretty dope.
Yeah.
She beat Chad.
You beat Chad, which is insane. 13 minutes. You guys have to make a YouTube video about Chad getting in there, like in and out. So good.
Yeah,
you killed it, bro.
Yeah.
So Ingrid, how can we get a hold of you?
Yeah. Best is through my Instagram, Ingrid. I am spelled with the YINGRYD _ Hernandez. That's the best way. Just DM me and then we'll get it going from there.
And here's the funny thing is I actually get a little offended when people say you guys built a great community. And I look at you and I'm like, how dare you not take credit for helping out so much for the last couple of years? We have built an amazing community together.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it without you. You've helped so many people, not just women, but a lot of men too.
Oh yeah. Some of the most diverse communities. I mean, if you look around here, you got all colors, all genders. It's beautiful. Sorry.
We have a redhead in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And a 3-legged dog.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How is that possible? We do have a 3-legged dog.
Yeah. Cool.
Wow.
Awesome.
Ingrid Hernandez.
Yeah. Thank you.
We truly love you.
I love you guys.
Give it up for Ingrid Hernandez. Interesting. You can pull money out of a house. Is it really pulling money out of a house?
Well, you're encumbering the house. So
that's a big word.
You're putting a lien on the house. If you're going to put a deed of trust or some kind of a security against the house, you're taking money out of the house.
Okay. Who does direct to agent outreach? Okay. Oh, you know what? I should bring you up here so I can tease you about somebody trying to hit on you the other day. I literally. Do you want to bring him up?
Yeah, come on up, Matt.
Matt Justice. Matt Justice. I have not tried to set anybody up for a date in a long time.
Well, you didn't tell me why you wanted his phone number. I would have said, I would have said, oh, he's got a girl. But you didn't say that.
I go to dinner.
What's Matt Justice's phone number? So I sent it over. He's like, I got a girl for him. I'm like, shit. Now I already
DM'd him or would I DM you or text you?
Yeah, you DM'd me.
You were too late. So I went for it. I was at dinner with this girl and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. I go, with who? She's like, Matt Justice. I was like, okay, I'll hook you up. She's like, really? I'm in town for 2 days. Like, do you think he'll take me to the Grand Canyon? I was like, probably. And anyway, she's so hyped up. And then you DM that you got a girl. And she was just like, she didn't eat the rest of her dinner, bro.
Damn. I don't know.
You're freaking heartbreaker, man. Okay, so Matt, Canaldo Sam has a great question. A house that's on Zillow for 230 days, is that a good lead?
Probably not, to be honest.
Okay, tell us what's your reasoning behind that.
So many people have probably already reached out, there's something definitely wrong with the house that's no one has bought it at that point, or the seller is just so kind of stuck on what they want rather than what is actually going to be willing for someone to go and be able to buy the place. Like even for a creative deal, I mean, we've tried to do some stuff at the 200-day mark, and those are still pretty tough to even get creatively.
Yeah, you're almost a year in at that point. You know what I mean? Like it's 230 days is a long time to be stubborn and to hold out. You know that agent has brought them lower offers. You know that agent has had many conversations with that person to say, look, what are we doing here? Also, most listings are 180 days, right? So there's a good chance that this agent is related to the seller, or the seller is an agent themselves, and they're just putting that property up on the market.
These are the things you cannot learn in a book.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like you have to be in the business to learn this kind of
100%.
stuff.
Because look at that. After 180 days, that agent would have had a conversation with the seller and said, Patty, what the fuck? Right? Right?
Yeah.
What are we
real.
doing here?
Yeah.
Are we gonna, so that didn't happen because we're at day 230. So it's either the agent owns that house and they're just fishing, or it's a relative and there's just no motivation there.
On past 180 days in that situation, what's the significance there?
180 days, your listing is expired.
So what does that mean typically if I am a non-related agent, also non-owning the property agent, what would normally happen to that lead?
So that it would become expired. The agent would have lost confidence. The seller would have lost confidence in that agent and being able to sell. The likelihood that seller would renew a listing agreement with that agent is low, unless there's some form of relationship between them that is not client and seller, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or seller and agent. And so when you think about it from those terms, at 180 days, any agent with respect for themselves and their job would say, I'm not doing this again unless you're going to be realistic about your number. What's the point of me continuing this charade here? You're not motivated. You don't want to sell this house. So that would have happened at 180 days. We're well past that, 50 days past that. So there's a completely different narrative going on here. There's something underlying that you're not seeing. And I would actually, a good thing for you to do is check the tax record owner. See who the name is that owns the property. If it's an LLC, go find out who the owner of that LLC is. TruePeopleSearch.com will tell you, and find out. They got the same last name. Are they the same person? Is it Spider-Man pointing at himself?
That's a great meme, dude. Yeah. That's a great meme. What else do you have to say about this, Mr. Justice?
I would honestly say reach out to the seller and see kind of what's going on, especially if you're not licensed, right? Because then you could get in big trouble if you do that. But yeah, I would reach out to the seller and kind of see like what is your agent not doing, or kind of figure out what the stipulation is.
Well, what if it's the agent? You know what I mean? And that agent then's like, oh, you went and found my phone number, and now I really have the conversation with the realtor first. You'll get a lot by asking questions like, what's going on here? I love asking agents, what's your plan?
Oh yeah.
What's your plan?
How fun has this been for the last 230 days?
Yeah. So, there's a lot of exploration that you can do there to really figure out what's hiding in the house, or what's going on with this property, and why this seller has just been so stubborn with price. Because listen, every house will trade at a price. Every property will trade at a price. Doesn't matter where it is. Doesn't matter the condition it's in. Everything will sell at a price. What's the price?
Right. Matt Justice, how can the single ladies reach out to you?
Don't.
My Instagram.
Don't? No?
Nah. Yeah, don't reach out to me.
Okay,
though.
don't reach out. His girlfriend's watching apparently, so I'm getting him in trouble. How can wholesalers who are only men reach out to you?
My Instagram is MatthewJustice22.
MatthewJustice22. And your dad, his last name is Justice.
Yep.
What did he do for a living?
He was the chief of police.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chief Justice.
Yep.
That's like an X-Men superhero, dude.
Yeah.
That's freaking great.
So good.
Give it up for Mr. Justice.
Love you, bro.
All right, I've got to bring our resident closer up here, Mr. Quijano. Come on up here, Mr. Quijano. Okay, Joel, did Joel pick you up?
Yeah, dude.
Did he crush your nuts?
No.
No, okay. He did with me, and it was not. I was like, make sure you do that to Jamil.
Crush nuts?
I didn't want him to tell you that that's what was going to happen.
But he's strong, man.
He's strong, bro.
He's
strong.
Super strong.
Yeah.
And he won't stop until he lifts you up.
I know.
I love him.
Joel says, most important tool for closing sellers and connecting. Okay. How to break down their problems and dig deeper. How to get past the awkwardness. It's interesting, Keanu, you've got a personality much like me. Have there been many awkward moments in your life?
Not many.
Not many.
No.
Right. So let's talk to the people in the audience that they don't have that normal, or that thing that we call normal.
Yeah.
They don't have that. So
Sure.
they got to build it. Right. How do I get past the awkwardness? How do I dig deeper? And how do I connect with the seller so I can actually close a deal? Is probably the better way to ask the question.
Yeah. It's one very important word, right? Write it down, get it tattooed if you struggle with this. Listen. That's it. Listen. I can't count how many people I hear on seller calls. They'll call. The seller sounds like their baby's about to jump off of a building, or they're about to jump off of a building. I've heard people say that their spouse just died. Amazing. So when was the last time you got your roof done? It's just like, bro, are you listening?
They're going through like a checklist
Yes.
of questions. Seller says, well, my wife and I are going through divorce. Okay, great. So
Yeah,
your
exactly.
So your hot water heater is pretty good still.
Yeah. And they're like, I don't understand why sellers don't want to sell to me. This isn't a good business model. It's really, and here's the thing, right? Because well-intending new people, you guys are just doing the things, right? You're listening to Jamil and Pace, and you're spending your free time and you're calling sellers and you think you're doing the right steps, but you have to do the right steps well, right? There's a thing where you start, then you have to start doing it well. And I think listening is so important.
Well, why aren't people listening?
They don't know how.
So explain that. Unpack that. What do you mean they don't know how? What's happening in their head?
So there's two things that's happening. One, they're trying to stay on the script and not stay in the conversation, right? Focus on the conversation you're having. Whatever worked in the last conversation, forget about it. Use what needs to happen in this conversation, right? So I think that's step number one. And step number two, we need to realize something. What's everybody's favorite subject? Themselves. People literally yelled it from the room. Guys, remember, when you're talking to people, people's favorite subject is themselves. So make the conversation about them.
Yes. My wife, I told this to May today. By the way, give it up for May for being my personal assistant.
She told me she dressed up for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you guys think she needs some luck, or you think she's got it?
She got it.
She got it. She got it. Okay, cool. So I was telling this to May. Laura told me something 10 years ago. She said, the secret to going to these meetups and the secret to talking to people is the opposite of what people think. People are going into these conversations, as you're saying, trying to be interesting instead of interested.
Yep.
And they're sitting there talking. It's so much easier just to ask a question.
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
100%. Focus on the conversation you're having. When you listen, and here's the crazy thing. Jasper, right? Why do I love Jasper? Why did Jasper just close a $47,000 assignment?
He follows instructions.
He does that. He listens every single time. Jasper was the first one to come into a conversation. What's the script say? What's the script say? And I'm like, dude, stop it. Right? Just focus on the conversation that you're having. And so one conversation he had me do a call calibration. I'm listening to it, and the seller sounded off. And he just kept barging through with his script, and just it got more awkward and more awkward. And I'm like, are you not hearing this? And he realized it. Next call, I said, dude, if you're having a conversation and it seems like it's not going anywhere, just stop immediately and say, that's really rude of me. How is everything okay? If they sounded like something was really wrong with them, every once in a while, it's okay to just stop and say, pardon if this sounds intrusive, but you sound like a little upset. Is everything going okay? Right? What that's called in a sales tactic, it's a pattern interrupt. It's something they weren't expecting. What's that's called in humanity is caring. And we don't care enough. We care more about getting through our script than we do connecting with our sellers. And that's why we're not closing deals.
Do you think part of it is?
Come on, guys, give it up for
Yeah,
that.
Quijano, great.
That was a great fucking answer.
Do you think part of it comes down to people just going through trying to check a box really quickly?
Yep.
And maybe the expectation of the call is I have to close this seller,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think that was the thing that everybody loves Joel. Like, who doesn't love Joel?
Yeah.
Right. All the questions he asks, he's so great. Joel's
He's
awesome.
never crushed my nuts.
He will one
Okay.
day. I
All
promise you.
I look forward to
I
it.
can promise you that one
Okay.
thing.
I hold you to it, Joe.
He's saying closing the seller.
Mhm.
But what if the expectation was a little bit different, where it's like my objective is just to make a friend
Mm-hmm.
Or
make
help.
or help,
Connect.
make a human connection.
Yep.
Right. But if your objective is closing sellers and connecting,
Mhm.
I think those are kind of counterintuitive thoughts. Do you agree?
People have heard this phrase. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Put that on a shirt.
I just want to point out that the focus again is time travel, right? So Joel's entire thought process is, how do I get to the check?
Mhm.
The check, close the deal, close the seller, get the check, get the check, get the check. It's so far down the line. You haven't done the thing to earn the check yet. That should not be your focus, right? So just catch yourself. If you're time traveling, catch yourself. Come back.
We talked about this the other day about the mastermind, about immediate satisfaction of doing a task,
Mhm.
right? Mowing a lawn. I mowed a lawn. I see it was done.
Yep.
Whereas in sales, I've got to make 1,000 phone calls, 200 phone calls, whatever it is, before I see the fruits of my labor.
Yep.
And so it's tough, people going through that checklist of like, okay, I'm so nervous. I've never done this before. I'm going to go check the boxes because that's easier for me than to just wing it.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Sure.
I think
It's
that's
good to
almost,
start. Yeah,
I think it's almost required, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are your training wheels, is that just go through the motions, make as many mistakes as you can in the first place, so that somebody like Jasper actually has things to get feedback on.
Yep.
And then listen to the feedback like Jasper did. And he ultimately gets a $47,000 assignment fee being on your team.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of the way to do it, right?
100%. And I think you have to define what you're doing, right? You know, I'm big on defining things. And I think a lot of us, when we come from a world where the instant gratification is the marker of good progress, when we don't know what the marker of good progress is in a new endeavor, we start getting discouraged. And, you know, then you have the people, I've been doing this for 3 months, 6 months, I don't have a deal, I must be doing it wrong. Well, maybe you're just looking for the wrong type of proof. Right. So I think if you're new to this, for anybody who's never had these conversations before, know that daily consistency is a mile marker, even if you don't see the results.
Also, if you are tracking not deals you're doing, but connections you make with human beings,
Mhm.
Yep.
you go, hey, in the last 3 months, I've made 47 unique, awesome connections. I've learned new things about people in other parts of the country. I have had tremendous success in this business, and you didn't equate it to a check.
Mm-hmm.
You are on your way. Do you agree with this?
1,000%.
Amazing.
1,000%.
Quijano, you've got a boot camp coming up. What's up?
I'm working on it now. It's in the works.
Come on, dog. You don't come on Wholesale Hotline without a date, man. What's the date?
The date is
You don't know.
soon.
Let's
I don't
make sure
know.
people DM you.
okay. So slide in the DMs. Daniel.theq on Instagram.
The Q as in Quijano.
I just got handed a whole set of calendars.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
Are you going to pick a date?
I don't know. You want to just point?
I
at the
think you should have
calendar
people
and
DM you.
I should have people DM me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel.theq up there, DanielTheQ.com, any of those things, and we have the information.
The last couple of boot camps have been at my house. They've been
Yes.
super dope.
Amazing.
You're my friend. I love you.
Likewise.
And I told you, I don't know, a year ago, I said, dude, you got to get a boot camp together, bro.
Mhm.
And you were like, but where? I said, my house.
Yep.
So I think the last 3 you did at my house, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I imagine nobody's going to go to Albuquerque for this boot camp.
No. I don't. Yvonne doesn't even want to go to Albuquerque for the boot camp, but she lives there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're going to be doing this probably in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes.
Sometime this upcoming month,
Next
2
couple,
months.
yes, next month or two for sure.
Okay. Daniel the Q.
Daniel.theq.
Daniel dot the Q.
Q.
Give it up for Dan Quijano. All right. You know, I wish I had Ingrid up for this question, but I'm not going to go to you for this one. Let's see who can answer this question. I don't know. Maybe Ted Miller could ask this question. Do you think? Hold on. Here's the question. Okay, here's the question. Let's see what we got. Because I want to get. I would love to have Ted up here, but I'm not sure Ted has done this. I think you have. Brian says, "How do you wholesale while having a full-time job?"
Made 300 grand.
Okay, come on, brother. Sit down. Here we go. Do you remember the time we went to Fayetteville, North Carolina? We went to that little turkey shop on Main Street. We had ice cream. So freaking good. And then we went and saw a house in wherever. That was a deal I bought from this man, Ted Miller, sub 2. Okay. And then there was the same day we also had a gun pulled on us in the safest city in the United States.
Crazy.
That was a fun day.
Very fun.
I love hanging out with you, bro.
I'm assuming that's not Fayetteville, right?
No, it was up by Raleigh, Durham.
Oh.
There's a city up there called Kate. I don't know if it's Katy or something. It's between Raleigh, Durham, and it's Cary. Safest city in the United States. We had a gun pulled out on us. It's great.
I had my butt out the window. We deserved it.
Yeah, we deserved it. Ted Miller, where do you live, brother?
I live in Durham, North Carolina.
Durham, North Carolina.
Yep.
And can you answer this question for us?
I started wholesaling when I had no formal job, but people on my team do have full-time jobs, and they are wholesaling with us as closers. Mostly closers. Or
Okay, so I like this. I think the biggest challenge for somebody who has a full-time job is that you're all day long being told exactly what to do, and you're plugged into somebody else's business at that 9-to-5 job. Then you come home and you have to remotivate yourself into a completely different brain space, which is you're not being told what to do. You have to go and create all momentum, rely entirely on yourself, etc. So one of the hacks that you're telling me, which is what I'm hearing, is maybe go plug into somebody else's team for 2 or 3 hours in the evening. You don't have to generate your own leads. You don't have to worry about the structure or comping and all that kind of stuff. You just need to take the action that somebody else is telling you to take, which would be joining Ted Miller and Justin Tumanowski's team.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I would recommend. Don't try to figure out everything on your own because there's so much to figure out when it comes to wholesaling, pulling lists, doing skip tracing, which I'm still not even good at. Who
does it for you? Tumanowski?
Admin.
Oh, admin.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tumanowski ain't doing no admin.
No. He figured it out though, but he offloaded it to
There you
admin.
go. That's the boss move right there.
Yep. So I'd say if you have a full-time job and you're extremely busy, find you got to dedicate the time to that team, because if someone joined our team, we do pour a lot into you to make you very good and give you the confidence when you're talking to sellers. Because a lot of people on our team are pretty new and they get stuck very early on these calls. But me, Justin, other people will listen to their calls with them and say, "Hey, Ted, what do I do next?" And I say, "Ask them this, tell them that." And then if they really do get stuck, then me or Justin will get on the call with the seller.
So you would call that a call calibration?
Yep, but live. We have a live Zoom on, and it's a lot. We listen to their calls live. Yeah,
so you do an open office type of format. So they come home from their 9-to-5 job, let's say at 4:00 in the afternoon. They come home, kiss the babies, have dinner. They then get on the phone, let's say 5:30 to 7:30. You guys have some sort of open office format that they can call sellers. And when they need help, they're like waving at you guys on Zoom, and you guys jump on the call or tell them what to say.
We're typing in the side chat, telling them what to ask next.
Wow.
So they're learning right away. And we typically know how to break down the deal so they know what they're negotiating for, whether it's creative or what they need in cash. So they don't have to figure out what their buyers need, because we are the buyers or we have buyers already. So
there's like 50 cheat codes all in that one thing.
Yeah.
You don't need to find buyers, skip trace, generate leads. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You don't have to worry about sales processes yet. You just follow somebody else's guidance.
So you ever start a new job before in your life?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Anybody who started a new, we actually have something like this going in the Astro community right now too.
I had like PTSD when you brought
I know
that
you
up.
got like job.
Yeah.
But no, really, like when you start a new job, what happens, right? You go into the place, they're like, watch these videos, and here's the rule book. When you're all done that, come out and hang out with the rest of the people. So you watch the videos, you read the rules, you still have no idea what's going on. And it's not until you sit down and you start watching people do the work that you understand what the job is. right? You actually have to sit in the office and watch the people. Oh, that's the job. Got it. And then you start doing the job, but with your own spice, right? You do the same thing other people are doing it, but you're doing it your way. And one thing that you said that I think is really important is one thing. Do one thing. Focus on one thing. You focus on one thing, you can actually figure this out. If you try to do all of the things, if you try to figure out, how do I do the contracts? How do I do this? How do I find buyers? It's brain damage.
Yes.
There's no chance to do that with a full-time job.
I want you to answer this question for us as well, Ted Miller. Please read the question, but do it in a joking voice, okay?
My question is, what does a house wear? Address. Oh, yeah.
Address.
I didn't know that one until the ending. Yeah.
For the people in the back that didn't understand that, what does a house wear? Address.
Yeah.
You just have to wait about 7 seconds. People go, oh, I got it. I got it. Okay, here we go. Let's keep you up here for a couple. Are you okay with it?
I'm fine. Yep.
I don't hear enough from you, bro.
I like to be calculated with what I say.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Jamil, Hater says. Hater. All right.
Not with a T, with a D.
With a D. How can you figure out an accurate ARV when comps have a big range? The range is from $390s up to $600,000. The comps are all over the place. Do you take the average of all those comps?
No, you're missing something. You're 100% missing something. You're either you've crossed into a historic district or you've crossed into a completely different neighborhood. Maybe they look very close to each other, but they're not, right? So if you see the comps are jumping like that, that means the neighborhood is jumping. If the neighborhood is jumping, then you have to tighten up where you're looking. I can tell you that this happens a lot in areas like in Phoenix or in Southern California where you have these historic districts and things change from one street. There's a neighborhood not too far from this studio that we're at where literally one street over, all the houses are worth $150,000 to $200,000 more than one street south. Just one street makes a difference. And you didn't cross a major road. You're actually in the same subdivision. It's just that one street has something special about it that people will pay significantly more money. So, Hater, what I would say is you have to do more investigation. You have to find out why. What I would also say is that when you see jumps like that, stay linear on your comps. Try to find a comp on the same street. Because maybe what's happening is if you're looking at a deal in California, if you're looking at a deal where there may be hills, here's another thing that I see happen all the time as well. You've got a neighborhood that when you're looking at it 2D, you're comping 2D, everything looks flat. But what really is happening is this house is on a grade. And all these houses are the elevation is changing house to house to house.
So they have like a view.
So these guys got a better view than this guy's got a better view than that guy. And so the view continues to elevate and escalate as you go higher up. But you look at it from 2D and you think it's all just the same subdivision. So there could be nuances or things going on there that you're not seeing. So I would try to stay as level as I can, but no, don't average because you're missing something. You're missing something significant.
Love it. If I'm in sub 2, I'm a sub 2 community member and I want to join the Tumanowski and Miller team. How do I get part of that Miller high life?
Well, number one, you can reach out to either myself or Justin on Instagram.
How do I reach out to you?
Instagram, Ted_Miller_REI.
REI. Ted_Miller_REI.
Not confusing at all. Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
All right. Perfect.
Okay.
Good
Ted Miller, everybody give it up for Ted Miller. All right. So let me get Tyler up here. Tyler, are you behind me? Get up here, brother. Hey, when you sit down, show me your guns real quick. Both of them.
These?
Yeah, boom! All right, Tyler, I need help getting out of analysis paralysis. I have an idea of how to begin wholesaling. However, I can't land my first deal. I have cold called. I have done postcards, and I've done driving for dollars. I think a lot of people in this room that have done a lot of deals are like, you can kind of paint the picture of what this person is going through.
Yeah.
What say ye?
What say ye?
What are your thoughts? What would you say to this person that's in analysis paralysis? Is it maybe connect with people that are doing deals, make better friends? Is it, hey, man, maybe you haven't been really that as consistent as you think? What are the pieces of advice you would give to somebody who is in analysis paralysis?
First off, I would say get around people that are actually doing the deals. So if you're in Houston, I would go to Jeff's Power Hour. That'll force you to start making the calls that you need to make in order to get out of that analysis. Secondly, I would get close to a team that is actually doing the deals. So people that are in Sub2 or Astro, or people that are consistently doing deals, I would say figure out a way to bring value to them. Figure out a way to, I don't know, go driving for dollars for them, but have them show you how to do it. So you're actually bringing them deals, but in the process, you're learning how to do it as well.
Let's say that I want to connect with somebody, because there's people, ironically, Brad Lewis says, are there any closers in Houston right after Jeff Smith spends 12 minutes up on here talking about the Power Hour every Saturday? I understand. Brad might have tuned in a little bit late. That's okay.
It happens.
Is there a way that if I wanted to connect with somebody anywhere in the country, I could find somebody pretty quickly to rely on, or maybe bring value to, kind of like Ted Miller and Justin Tumanowski are talking about, hey, come join our team. How would I find somebody like that?
Easily. So I'd reach out to either myself or one of the other people that were on there and ask if there's someone in their specific area that they know who is actually doing the deals.
Okay, and how do I reach out to the gun show that's sitting in front of me?
I mean, you can call me. You can reach out.
What's your cell phone number? Give it the cell phone number. Give it the cell phone number. I'll give it. Hey, May, where's my phone? Let's give Tyler's phone number away.
425.
Oh, all right. Well, write this down, guys. This is the real number. I've memorized it. I know he's telling the truth. 425
358 0789.
Everybody send him a text right now. Let him know you got him locked in.
We're buying deals. If you guys have creative deals, please send them over.
Where are you buying deals?
All over. We got houses in Arizona, California, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia. I think that's it, right?
You guys are the Bash Bros?
The Bash Bros.
The Bash Bros. Do you guys have a podcast?
We do.
What's the name of it?
Bash Bros Podcast.
Yes.
This is not a casting couch.
Is that what it says at the bottom of the logo? This is not a casting couch?
So the first episode, we were doing it in someone else's studio, and
they have a black couch.
All they had was a black leather couch.
Of course they did.
And so we had to clarify Bash Bros and black leather couch.
Does not sound good.
Can you explain for the people who don't know what a black leather couch means?
Check out the podcast for that one.
Why is that significant, by the way?
They can always Google that.
Okay.
What's your cell phone number one more time?
425-358-0789.
Tyler, everybody, Bash Bros. Marcellus Wallace. It's so funny. When you think of Marcellus, what do you think of? Marcellus Wallace. Pulp Fiction. What line in Pulp Fiction? Are you a Pulp Fiction fan?
I mean, I watched it 20 years ago.
Okay. All right. By the way, I love her name. Her name is so great. She is Asian, and she's also an Arizonian real estate agent. So she named herself the Asian Realtor. I love it. Jamil, what would be the best approach on starting to wholesale remotely outside of Arizona?
Well, first you want to find out what market you're going to be looking at, right? So choose your market. Personally, I think any market that has a population over 500,000 is going to be a market where you're going to have action. I wouldn't try to remotely or virtually wholesale in a market that has a population less than that, because it's going to be harder to find buyers, right? One of the things I say often is play in traffic so you can get hit. And if you are in a neighborhood, or if you're in an area where there's a lot of traffic, a lot of people, a lot of buyers, a lot of liquidity and money, you're going to have a easier time selling those deals. So first and foremost, choose the market. Next thing I would do is I would find people in that market already doing business and start getting a lay of the land. Figure out What are the types of properties that people are looking for? Where do I focus? Do I focus at specific price points? Do I focus in specific areas? Then I would determine what your modality of lead gen is going to be. Are you going to go direct to seller? Are you going to go direct to agent? Are you going to do a combination of both? Are you going to co-wholesale? Figure out where your niche is. And then because if you are already wholesaling in Arizona, you should already know the basic ins and outs of the wholesale process. So then it's just repeating what you've already been doing in your local market and getting it done in another one. So again, it's always better to work with other people. One of my favorite physics equations is the equation for momentum, right? The physics equation of momentum is momentum equals mass times velocity. So if you want to increase your momentum, what are the only two things you can do? Increase your speed or increase your mass. How do you increase your mass? More people. Squat up. That'll give you momentum. It's physics. It's a very simple way to look at it.
Damn. So you're saying it's science.
It's science.
Damn. Bill Nye up in here. I love it. Okay. This one's a good one. Chad Glover, come on up here, brother. Give it up for Chad Glover. Chad Glover.
What's up?
Bro, I get to hang out with you in North Carolina in like a couple of days.
Couple of days.
You know how I'm getting picked up from the airport? In my brand new Escalade 2023 that I'm buying subject to.
Oh, awesome.
It's going to be dope.
Yeah.
You're buying a new Escalade?
Yeah. Here's a great question. Chad, you are such a great leader in all of North Carolina and South Carolina. A lot of people can rely on you. So that's why I called on you for this. Skylar in Santa Barbara says, how can I break into the investor world as a new real estate agent, and what are your biggest tips? If this question could be cut up out of YouTube and put next to the other question of how do I find real estate agents that want to help me in my wholesale journey, or how do I talk to real estate agents, it's so funny that you don't understand the other side is desperately trying to find you too.
Exactly.
Okay?
You're a client.
Yes. If I'm an agent, Chad, let's say I'm an agent in North Carolina, you're in North Carolina, you're not an agent, right?
Right. No, investor.
Okay. How do I break into the business? I'm primarily focusing on retail real estate. I'm very sorry to hear that. I am also in my early 20s, so I don't have a lot of people in my sphere purchasing homes yet. How do I work with you, Chad? How do I find an investor? What can I as an agent bring of value to you as a real estate investor?
For one, you have MLS access. One way to find me and any other investors is going to meetups as well. Find it, Google your local meetups. As an investor, I can definitely.
Do you have a meetup?
Yes.
What is it called?
It's called
Chad Glover.
Yes.
North Carolina Lover.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. The Lovers Meetup.
The Lovers Meetup.
Yeah. No, I have a meetup every third Tuesday in Charlotte. It's just called an investor meetup.
Okay, so every Tuesday or every third Tuesday?
Every third Tuesday of the month.
Every third Tuesday in Charlotte, North Carolina, Chad Glover has a meetup.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny is, are you the only Sub2 or Astro community member that's doing meetups in the whole country?
No. It's everywhere.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we at least 52 and Hawaii and Israel. We're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Right.
We're everywhere. So our community is everywhere doing meetups. You get Astro community members coming over to you, right? By the way, wasn't that such a great venue that he set up in Charlotte?
Beautiful place.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I loved it. It was picturesque. The temperature was great. The water was right there. Couldn't be better. Yeah.
Okay, so they can Google it, yes, but how can I get a hold of you, Chad?
Instagram. Instagram is one of the places I try to do a lot of ads at in terms of just really basic real estate investing stuff.
Okay,
Chad
so
Glover.
how do I connect with you on Instagram? What's your Instagram name?
Chad Glover _ Super simple. Keep it my first last name.
Chad Glover _
Super easy.
We got to go kill the other Chad Glover, don't we?
Yeah, hope it ain't too many of them. Yeah.
We got to buy him out or something.
No carbon copy of it. Yeah.
That's the fake Chad Glover. We got to go take him out.
Absolutely.
If I'm a real estate agent, I come to your meetup, what should I be trying to bring in value? Should I wear a shirt that says I have MLS access?
No, just basically.
By the way, if a real estate agent wore that to your meetup, would you not be pumped?
Yeah.
That's actually a great idea. I have
Yeah.
MLS access.
Right.
Or I have MLS.
Yeah. I mean, I have MLS.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I don't know if people would want to talk to you.
They, well, that may not be a good one.
Oh, that's good. So what if I'm an agent, what should I have as an expectation? Should I be walking up to people and saying I'm an agent, or do real estate investors not like agents, so I should hide that?
No, yeah, definitely. Let them know what you do. The best thing that I tell agents in this, I bet in this market, if out of any, is to be an investor agent. So don't come in with just your agent hat on. Just based on how you can work with us with on market deals you have, your spot listing that you have, and really pitching out the potential that you can. If you have a wholesale deal, for example, you can put it on the MLS and get a larger assignment fee. A lot of people don't do that as well. So just educating them that what you do, what services that you can provide as an agent to get them more eyes on your deals.
Love it. Okay, so by the way, Skylar Santa Barbara fooled all of us. Santa Barbara is not her last name, or not where she lives. It's her last name.
Oh,
interesting.
It's a great last name.
It is a great last name. She lives in Rhode Island. Is that somewhere on your side of the country, Justin? Like, how far away is Rhode Island from you?
Hour and a half away.
Okay, so Justin Tumanowski, what's your name again on Instagram?
Real estate Justin. Period. Just look
Real estate dot Justin.
Real estate. Period between each word.
yeah.
Real dot estate dot Justin.
Tumanowski's too long.
I like Tumanowski. It's one of my favorite names.
So I get butchered daily.
So Skylar, you've got leaders all over the country, right? Astro, Sub2, TTP, all over the country, running meetups. I don't see a lot. The TTP crew needs to step up. Where's the TTP crew? Y'all need to step up your freaking meetup games. You know what I'm saying? Or you guys need to connect in our meetups. Don't leave yourself out. We want the community growing. We want TTP and Astro in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Houston, Power Hour. You guys are letting TTP in there?
Everyone.
Okay, cool. Justin, when are you guys doing your meetups? I know it's
one Saturday. We got a 200 person. There were 200 people that actually reserved Eventbrite. Actually, it was in Boston. 30 minutes probably from her.
Did you have any chowder?
We had so much lobster and chowder. And I would say go to Instagram. Go New England Sub 2 is the handle. New England Sub 2. We have our own.
I repost. Is it Suzanne doing it?
It's,
Oh, they're so funny.
Suzanne, we all have it. We're all
She's
She's
freaking
great.
hilarious,
She's-
bro.
she's-
Yeah.
He is down there. Too. Well,
I'm translating. All right, so here's the reality. If you're listening to this, do you guys feel like there's any excuse if you're not going to a meetup? Is there any excuse? What about like if I'm in North Dakota or South Dakota?
They're there too.
We're there.
Definitely. Everywhere.
Our community is leading the entire industry. We have the best closers, the best transaction coordinators, the best compers, the best multifamily people. The community is strong everywhere. Chad Glover _, Instagram, one of my favorite people on the planet. You and I just bought a deal together, bro.
Yes.
Shoo.
Yeah.
I'll see you. What day am I going to see you in Charlotte?
June 6th, Bowstring, Raleigh, North
Do you
Carolina.
think I could get Jamil to fly out for the one day? You think I can get him out there? He's like,
June
Sure,
6th?
absolutely.
June 6th. What are you doing? Are you going
I'm
to
in
Amsterdam?
LA.
You're not. Okay. Oh yeah, you're there for that party. All right. Chad Glover, everybody.
Oh, don't leave me hanging, Chad. No, come back. Love you, bro.
Okay, Jacob Caddick, best question of the night. How many A's are in lobster? Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, let's do one more question. What do you say? We're wrapping up for the evening. Let's do one more question. Will, I'm going to answer this question for everybody. Are there any Sub2 groups in anywhere in the country? Is there a part of the country we don't have a Sub2 group? Can you guys think of something?
No, I don't think so.
Ironically, Will is asking about Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm going to be there on June 6th with Chad Glover, who's from Raleigh, North Carolina. Everywhere in the country, there is a community meetup. Okay. All right, here we go. As someone completely new to REI, do you suggest we squat up with other newbies, jump in head first, F things up and learn from that, or squat up with experienced members? Let's see. Who do I want to pull out? Andrew, you want to get up here? Get your ass up here. Oh, shit. All right. Another Houstonian, one of the great leaders down in Houston. You've really stepped up, bro. It's been fun to watch.
Thanks.
Super proud of you. Let's start with your Instagram name. Tell me you don't have dots and underscores in your name.
No, it's just straight sub 2 Drew.
Sub 2 Drew. Did you and Sub 2 Drew in Florida fight over this?
No, we did not.
He has more muscles than you, bro.
Dude, he's got a lot of muscles.
Okay, so Sub 2 Drew on Instagram. So SUBTODREW. No dots, no periods, no
simple, straight
hashtags.
So the other Sub 2 Drew is out of Florida. So shout out Drew out there.
Bro, he is ripped. Like he's been chiseled out of marble.
Yeah.
Have you seen him?
No.
You've hugged him before, actually.
Oh,
I've watched it.
The guy with the 8-pack?
Oh, yeah. All right. So Sub 2 Drew on Instagram. You're running the Houstonian group down there, Power Hour with the boys, Jeremy, Jeff, yourself. As someone, when I'm brand new in real estate, should I just focus on hanging out with new people because that's comfortable and I don't want to look stupid? Or should I go hang out with experienced people so I can not feel stupid? Deals. I don't know.
So I would say I've had a lot of growth because I hang out with experienced people. So I've been in Sub 2 for 6 months now. And a month into it, I found all the leaders and I was outside their door, knocking on their door, trying to provide value to them.
Did he do a good job?
So like what I would say to that question is find the people that are actually doing the meetups and try to provide value to them. Whether if it's having time to call people, whether if it's joining their teams and being committed to their teams, I would say joining an experienced team will accelerate your growth as far as closing more deals. Bro. And so because of hanging out with people like Jeff Smith, Jeremy, I've closed a ton more deals, and we're really working the low equity direct to agent market. And it's just been nuts. It's just been insane.
Interesting thing that people would jump in to real estate and want to hang out with people who are also brand new. And when you say provide value, okay, providing value is very ambiguous. It's not very specific. So let's get specific. Yeah. I'll give you a really specific idea. If I join Sub 2 or Astro and I go to the meetup, Jeff Smith, let me ask you a question. For Power Hour in Houston, would it be valuable for you if I, as a new community member in Sub 2 or Astro, called the other community members the day or 2 days before, texted them all and said, can't wait to see you guys, and reminded them personally to come out to the Power Hour?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're telling me I don't have to know how to close a deal?
Yeah.
I don't have to know how to comp, but I can bring tremendous value to a weekly meetup.
Coordinate, yeah. To help coordinate meetups, to help coordinate reminders, to help do it. There's a ton of stuff that people can add value to. And it's not necessarily, providing value in the sense of helping us close the deal. It's literally what you said, just help with coordination, help with, hey, reminding people, help with, hey, I have free time or I work at a certain facility or a certain area. I can provide value because of the resources that I have. So it's not necessarily directly providing value in the sense that, hey, I have a better script or I have a better list or I have a better, like all those systems are already in place.
I would say the number one piece of value that we probably all need, Jamil, when we first jump into this business from somebody else is not knowing how to close a deal. Okay. Not knowing how to comp, not knowing how to raise money. I would say the most important thing I need when I go to a meetup is somebody who just wants to be my friend.
Yes. Absolutely. The interesting thing here is when I read this, whoever the Facebook user is, it would be great if we knew your name, but Facebook user, you are saying that by working with newbies, that's where you're going to jump in head first and F shit up. You're going to do that working with experienced people as well. So don't think that you're going to, just because you're working with somebody experienced, that you're not going to be required to jump in, that you're not going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. You're going to make mistakes befriending the experienced people. You're going to make more mistakes befriending and following the blind, right? That's not going to get you to your goal faster, right? Again, all of these things are very important. Lead with value. Ask what you can do to be helpful to somebody. But at the end of the day, right, I think when you are trying to elevate or do something new, you can't learn from people that are new.
Correct.
You have to learn from people that are physically, mentally doing the work that you're trying to emulate so that you can do the same thing.
Jamil, what do you think stops people from doing that?
Oh, it's always fear. It is every time you come across a roadblock, whatever that is, that stops you, it's fear. It's fear that it's not going to go your way. It's fear that you're not going to measure up. It's fear that what if I get it right?
Yeah.
What
Fear
if
of
I actually
success.
succeed? Everything will come back to some form of fear.
Yeah.
And again, what are you leading in? What are you letting lead you? Are you letting love lead you? Are you letting confidence lead you? Or are you going to let fear lead you? Because you see what fear is going to do. It's going to trap you in the exact same spot you're in.
I was talking to Ken Lee. Who knows Ken Lee? I was talking to Ken Lee yesterday, and he says, I started doing bandit signs, and I started doing Kihano was in the room for this. I started doing bandit signs and direct mail, and he avoided answering the phone call. He was so afraid of hearing a yes. He's like, I wasn't even afraid of the no's. I was afraid, like, what if they said yes? I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So for 6 months, he spent money like driving around in his car, putting up the bandit signs, doing all the things, spending money on postcards. And it wasn't until somebody else in the community latched on and actually helped him through it, right? We are nothing without our friends.
100%.
I want to give a shout out to Carolyn and Myron Briley out of Dallas, Texas. Yep. Shout out to them. Great leaders. Love them. Isn't it so great that we can go around the country, anywhere in the freaking country, and our best friends are all over the entire country?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is so special. What we've all, guys, forget about me and Jamil. We were just the two first buddies that linked in, and we all have just created this amazing domino effect of friendship. And I appreciate all of you guys. We love you guys so freaking much. I watched Carolyn and Myron a year and a half ago. I did this weird thing on Instagram. I said, first 2 people to comment on my Instagram post, I'll fly out and you can spend a day with me in Arizona. I'm doing the same thing, by the way, this Friday. So watch out for my Instagram. Make sure you watch my stories. I pay for their flights. They come out. They hang out with me. Fast forward, they now have 70 doors in their portfolio a year and a half later. And they are currently raising money for a $100 million deal here in Arcadia, Arizona. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of everybody. No matter how big the progress, it's all massive. It's all massive. And bro, 6 months, you becoming a leader, helping Brad Lewis get his first deal.
Yep.
So proud of you, bro.
Yeah,
like
thanks.
You just stepping up to the plate and going, how can the leaders who have been, Jeff really fought hard for Houston I watched him for 2 years.
Yeah.
He was waiting for you. He was waiting for Jeremy. He was waiting for the whole gang to show up so you guys could get together, form the Three Musketeers. Would you guys want to be the Three Musketeers or the Three Amigos?
Three Amigos for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you think? Three Amigos? Okay.
No.
You shot him down. The Cowboys.
The Vaqueros.
I just want to say thank you to everybody. And thank you. Matt, can you show us the live studio just one more time? Guys, make some noise, please. Why don't you take us home with a quick little, now you're back home.
Yeah, I'm back home. Guys, 172 episodes. Is that right? 172 weeks. 172 weeks you guys have been tuning in. When Pace and I first started this show, we literally were using our cell phones and we were putting a microphone up to the speaker on our cell phones. And it started with this idea that we could just help people get past whatever obstacle that was keeping them from taking action. And look at this, 172 weeks later, we've got a studio audience with at least 90 people, I think maybe more, but at least 90 people in here. You just had an incredible mastermind, so many beautiful faces I haven't met and many that I have. And there's hundreds of people on this live stream right now, many of whom are brand new, first-time watchers coming in and asking, how do I do this? Who do I talk to? Where do I go? You're in the right place. So we'll see you on week 173 for Wholesale Hotline. We're out. Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.